Oh shit!
I was like, we're not even live yet. What is happening?
Apparently, it started to stream me dying. Anywho, um,
Did you hear?
hello,
He says he's in the room where it happened.
hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to our live streams. I'm so sorry about the break, but I was sick. Anywho, so today we're going to be talking about the main problems and the fall of the once great and powerful empire known as Disney, who all of us grew up watching except for Bubba, as he hasn't grown up yet, but that's a different issue.
Neverland is real.
My mama says I'm special.
Yes, but in an Olympics kind of a way.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Oh,
You
please
never know
no.
what
You
you're
eat too
going
much
to
and you
get.
get diabetes. So,
That's not
Is
an
it
answer.
short?
minute
Is it
in.
short but
I feel-
special?
I feel like that's also an attack. Anyway,
okay. So, the biggest issue that Disney has had in the past week is two main things. One,
Elon Musk?
Yes. well, Elon Musk is more the bank, so we'll just go with our lady herself, Gina Carano, is now suing Disney. One of the many lawsuits that Disney has to go through, but this is for unfair dismissal. Now, she was putting out a load of political stuff, talking about different political issues, but at the same time, so was Pedro Pascal, which
And
nobody fired.
I would like
Yeah,
to
go
know
ahead.
also, the comments she made were political only in the fact that somebody didn't like the truth behind them because they were actual statements of fact.
Mhm.
Okay, because she was comparing one type of freaking, how do I explain this? One type of, let's say, abuse of power involving one's neighbors with another type, which was exactly the same thing in a slightly different context. What Pedro fucking Pascal did was compare entire groups of people he just happened to not like to the German Labor Party from World War II. There's a big fucking difference there, and he never got called out for it at all.
But
Well, the other problem is that it seems like the men of Star Wars or Disney can air their whatever.
Yes.
And when women speak out in the Disney family, we're all chastised and axed out of,
Because
They're
weird,
out of the
because
company.
basically they
And
expect
it's
all
weird
women to
because
act the
it
same.
seems like even that is slanted. You know what I mean? Because Rachel Zegler can't stop running her mouth, and nobody says a word.
But
But
then
did she
other
get
women-
axed from Snow White?
No.
Only because Disney's PR got
No,
so
hold on,
bad.
hold
They
on.
said
did
they're
not
trying
ask
to
her
cut
for-
her minutes down with like a
Yeah.
childhood segment.
One sec, guys. What they did was they did not ask her. Was they went back and they basically reshot the movie with her in the same role.
I mean, but either way, it always seems to depend on who they want to side with at any given moment.
They will side with what X big movies coming out. That actress can run their mouth, but once that movie's gone, they're done. They will not be rehiring Rachel Zegler.
Not
to do
likely. She's too
anything
much
else.
trouble.
I mean,
Yeah,
I love Mark Hamill, don't get me wrong, but he can run his mouth sometimes and they never say anything to him. They just let him
Barb,
go.
would you like to inform her of some of his
Oh, I'm
sins?
sure, given what she said, she's aware of some of the things he said. I don't think I need to reiterate.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
been
Oh,
a
yeah, I know.
very, let's say, very hard, biased individual who doesn't like to take criticism on any
Now,
level.
this is...
and as far go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy.
All I was going to say is that I have no problem with any celebrity going after, making political commentary against the president of the United States or any of his staff members, which his daughter happened to be. But he went after a post about her children. That made no, that. All those little kids know, those kids, rich or poor, it doesn't matter. All those little kids know is that Luke Skywalker hates them.
Yeah,
because of who their grandpa is.
And there was a lot of other unpleasant stuff that came out about Mark regarding some things going on with his family that I won't even get into here, but that was some pretty ugly shit.
Yeah, no, we've already covered that in previous streams. But now this is okay. So Disney's also hired some very unsavory people to work in their past and work on different movies
and in their parks.
Oh, we won't even get into the parks. That's a whole different kettle of fucking
But like
fish.
their movies have had really weird stuff in it since the 90s. Like Aladdin, you had the weird like, hey, let's have sex thing whispered from Aladdin, like on the rooftop of like Jasmine's thing. Like you had like the weird penis shaped castle in Little Mermaid. There, you know what I mean? There was sex written in the leaves in Lion King. Like all these old classics had some hidden weird messaging in them. Like
innuendos, and of course, that was something. Yeah, as kids they fly over your head, but the adults in it probably know what's going on.
But one of the things that they actually, for some weird reason, that Disney had, if you remember growing up, the older people here would remember this, especially growing up in the 90s. Disney had a weird thing about virginity. A lot of the movies focused on that, people being insulted.
Yeah,
Hocus Pocus for one.
Yeah, like the whole virgin plot line. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Now, let me just tell you one thing, and this is how I would make Hocus Pocus darker. Imagine if they said light the black flame candle, and the little sister lit the black flame candle, and nothing happened.
You just had to.
Honestly, that would have been a crazy thing. Like,
it reminds me of a meme I saw.
But since since Danny was dressed up as a witch, they would assume that they should have a question.
Hey, Sci-Fi Nation.
I think the joke went right over your head.
No, Jess Sparks, only a virgin could light the black flame candle.
I know that, and because obviously, we already know, like, freaking,
Max
the joke obviously had feelings for Allison.
No, that wasn't his joke at all.
No, I won't say the joke here. I'll tell you post stream. It's really dark.
I know, but still.
Now Disney's Disney has they took a lot of the budget from their big movies, the big ticket movies, which they should have been big ticket. One of the recent ones that they did was the movie from Ant-Man. They took all the financials for the CGIs, and people working on it had stated that they got told, okay, when they started the project, here's your budget. And they're like, brilliant, I can turn around and I can do this. Hey, it's Phil. Welcome to the panel, Phil. Also, congratulations on your belt. We're all proud of you for it.
Congrats, man.
Thanks.
So what they did was the people in the VFX, is that FR? VFX or VHX?
It's VFX.
So, thank you. VFX. When they were working, they started the project. They said, here's your budget, X million, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, brilliant, we're doing this. And then they're like, sorry, here's your budget. It's after being reduced. Right, we can scrape it through. Sorry, your budget's reduced again. And they're like, where's our budget going? And people look
the marketing.
No, they were redirecting their budget to another project entirely.
Black Panther 2.
Yep.
Now, what they did on Black Panther 2, which was really fucked up, was they used the account. Somehow they got into the account of Chadwick Boseman, who was sadly who was sadly passed away. And Disney turned around and they started using his account to start shilling
the movie.
Yeah. Which is absolutely no, it's not, and it's absolutely fucked up.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah,
it is,
especially to his wife and his mother. I mean, good grief.
Yeah,
but they don't care. They don't care because, of course, even if the character is alive or not, but because Chadwick Boseman is, well, of course, a person of color. Yeah, they think that, we can just do whatever we want because it's all about those ESG scores too. Everything.
No, you know what? That's part of it. But the dumber part is, and if you've looked at the practice of this company, every person, IP, thing, and place is a tool for Iger to promote himself and try to fill his own wallet.
Now,
everything Disney does now is a means to his wallet. That's why he's so bad at managing a company, because his mind never goes beyond that.
Now, you cannot read this, sadly, because I'm a moron. And I should have actually got a bigger version, but there we go.
Don't worry, mix it up us. We're both morons, so you're good.
Yeah, I'll blame Sci-Fi Mombi for this.
So hey, you know because what? I'm the first one to mute out. Yeah, I know it.
Do you still have the document?
Yes. I
post it to my Discord.
Yep. So it is right here. Now, this is the thing that Farv is going to read out in a second. So, Farv, while I go looking, can you just blab on for a second?
Okay, well, all I'll say is, like, when he gets there, I will read the highlights. Reading the whole fucking document. What it boils down to is the whole damn document basically says the same fucking thing from top to bottom with different words. Every objective in every category is the same fucking thing. Okay, let me bring this up.
Yeah, now this is part of their Force DEI thing. This is what they had up in the
I will just read this off.
Yeah.
So Disney General Entertainment Content Inclusion Standards. Standard A, on-screen representation. At least 3 of the following 5 areas need to be met to fulfill Standard A. 1. Characters, 50% or more of regular and recurring written characters come from underrepresented groups. Bear in mind, before we get any further, underrepresented groups has some fine print that I will read in just a minute. 2. Actors, 50% or more of regular and recurring actors come from underrepresented groups. 3. Secondary characters, meaningful inclusion of underrepresented groups as secondary or more minor on-screen individuals, including background actors. 4. Series premise, meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in overall themes and narratives. 5. Episodic storytelling, episodic storytelling, ongoing meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in episodic themes and narratives. That's just one standard. Standard B, creative leadership. 3 of the following 6 areas need to be met to fulfill Standard B. 50% or more of producer and above on writing staff and 50% or more of co-producer and below on writing staff come from underrepresented groups. This is what I mean by every piece of this document says the same shit. Because if I go through this whole thing, and I will read more of it here and there, but it's all everything in every facet of every section has to come from underrepresented groups. The fine print's the real killer.
Oh, yeah. This. You want to read that bit out?
Yeah, okay. So let me go. I'll skip ahead to below the line. 50% or more of line producer and or production department heads, DP, composer, costume designer, editor, production designer, music supervisor, underrepresented groups. Other key roles, any mid-level crew and technical positions, underrepresented groups. Overall crew or project staff, underrepresented groups. Here's another great one. Promotion of member of underrepresented group into a role that constitutes career progression for at least one crew or team member.
Oh, boy.
And then we go down to Standard D, and I'll read just a couple from this. Industry access and career development. Paid employment opportunities such as apprenticeships, internships, expert advisors to facilitate union eligibility for members of underrepresented groups. Training opportunities or skills development, craft creative business, including one-off work experience opportunities for students from underrepresented groups. And then at the bottom, let me bring up this little lovely fine print here. Context is critical when evaluating if a group is underrepresented. Here's where you're going to love this. Anyone involved in hiring decisions is prohibited from asking candidates and talent about their actual or perceived race, religion, color, sexual orientation, gender identity, military or veteran status, age, disability, or any other legally protected categories. So what this does is give them the all clear to just presume your gender, presume your race, presume your orientation, and presume your background, because they're not allowed to fucking ask you.
Now,
so it gives them
for
a
anyone,
free pass to go, oh, hey, you've got dark skin. We're going to hire you to be a black character.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What is really represented, as I try to let myself down for them, is being dumbass.
Yeah, well,
they've
got over-representation of that right now.
Yeah, but what I've been saying for years is there's so many genuinely amazing myths from Africa. Just like the story of the Ethiopian Empire, just the religions of like so many different cultures.
I mean, if you want to really get into it, look into some of the mythology. Some of the African mythology is fucking out there.
It is, and it's absolutely amazing, beautiful, and fantastic. Then you've got the island nations of Africa, who are all like, who they have their own beautiful stories. Like but they don't care.
You know why?
Go ahead.
I'm going to be flat out with you. It's because of two reasons. One, it's not what they would call safe. It's not a sure bet, big budget licensed property that they can merchandise to fucking oblivion and back. And the second is they lack anyone with the talent to actually tap into those resources.
Exactly the point. They rather just show off people who are victimized or because of course, if you're white, you're the C word.
Yeah, we had like an Egyptian superhero. We had Egyptian people. We had.
When I grew up in the 80s and 90s in comics,
Indian.
Nobody gave a rat's ass in movies and comics what fucking race you were.
Exactly. Nobody cared.
The best X-Men is still one of my favorite X-Men. It's Bishop.
Well, Bishop's awesome.
Don't let Jennifer Lawrence hear you say that, because otherwise you'll say X-Woman.
I don't give a rat's ass what Jennifer Lawrence says.
Now
she was a terrible Mystique.
I promise.
She's got her head up. She's got her head up her hamster hole.
Yeah, I promise. So she actually,
and she was the first one to do that too.
Bubba,
she didn't even know someone else had already played the role that she got.
Bubba,
yeah, Rebecca Romaine. She literally did that. I mean,
get prepared.
You were playing a younger version.
All right.
of her.
I'm going to you in a second. So one of the things that they're constantly doing is replacing known white characters with like African American actors,
especially for some deranged, obsessive reason, white redheads. Every time there's an established redheaded white character, they always turn into a black person in Disney Marvel films.
Talking about turning into a black person, Bubba. Yeah, I made a promise to you.
You're not going to turn me into a black person, are you? No, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Anyway,
I'm going to replace.
Under procedure.
I'm going to replace you with a gender fluid black midget, but I'm still working on finding
that makes sense. That makes sense. In the meantime, you got me, and so right now the biggest problem I've got, yes, they've been doing this for years, long before the woke era and all of that. That you'd get characters now and again, and I was one of those back then because I was naive. That was like, well, as long as they don't change the narrative of the character, then it doesn't matter. The problem is that as I got older, that didn't last long after my teenage years. But as I got older, I began to realize that there are characters that just changing their ethnicity does change their narrative, changes their goals, changes who they are as a character. The reason why we love character like Michael Clark Duncan was the best part of that Daredevil movie.
Yeah, he was a great Kingpin.
And the thing is though, is that they tried. There's documented proof that they tried to get him to put an ethnic spin on the character, and he refused. Yeah. He played Wilson Fisk. When he came down that elevator, the first scene he was in that movie, there was nobody that had ever picked up a Spider-Man or Daredevil comic book that did not know who that was. We had no problem with him because he portrayed the character first and foremost. That was his job. Point. And that was the thing.
Like Samuel L. Jackson.
So then we tell them exactly, but that's
becoming
the thing.
A character, not yourself, a character.
Well, and it's important to remember that Samuel L. Jackson portrayed Nick Fury's son the son of the original.
Because Colonel Fury was a whole different.
But when he was first introduced, we did not know that.
No, and I get that, but I mean,
well,
some of
you
us did. But
you did if you'd read the Ultimates Marvel stuff.
But in any event, so then the argument changes, and we tell them make new characters. Mm-hmm. Well, the problem is that some of those characters turn out to be just gender swapped or reskins of those main characters. They're still a bait and switch character. They're still trying to capitalize on an audience that is already invested in.
Or you get even more deranged, stupid shit like what they did with the Punisher, where they didn't even change anything. They killed him off in the most insulting way, realized how bad they fucked up, and then just rebooted the fucking character for no fucking reason. He's still ex-military dude. They didn't change anything except give him laser guns instead of guns.
Well, and that, but that aside, so that brings me to the topic, the main topic for why I'm here is, I grew up, man, I was Mr. Midnight Release on all those Marvel movies, and I can't even bring myself to watch them on TV now. But and Star Wars, I've lost a lot of love for too. But the thing is that most of us thought, back in the day that Disney, at first, they buy Marvel, and we're like, okay, we weren't happy about that, but we were like, we'll give them a shot. Well, they did good. They did good for a long time because Ike Perlmutter refused to let Kevin Feige have his way, completely. But then eventually Kevin Feige got his way, and we saw the biggest wolf in sheep's, wolf in geeks clothing we've ever seen in our lives. But
I have a horrible thing to say that's probably going to make some people in the audience unhappy with me.
Wait, there's people happy with you?
After I saw, as far as the Perlmutter Feige thing, I thought Feige was a shiesty motherfucker from the beginning, because after I watched the Captain America movie, right? I liked that one all right. I saw Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I had some problems with it, was okay, but I literally cut off after that part because I already saw so much shit screwed up that I just gave up early. I checked out of the MCU early.
I remember when
Soldier is still one of the best, I think.
I remember when the Infinity War movies were coming out that one of our friends was sick in hospital, and we were like, oh yeah, the second Infinity War movie's out, let's get together. And Favre's like, nah, why? He goes, I'll tell you another time. But like since then I've come to understand why.
Unfortunately,
Well, but then that was the thing when they bought Star Wars. A lot of us were under the impression, well, they're still doing good with Marvel, which they were at the time. And let's face it, whether right up until the point where Han Solo is killed, the Star Wars movies were passable. That first one was passable. I still maintain that if they had not tried to do a sequel trilogy and just focused on smaller stories, everything else they had done up to most recently ranged from passable to good.
I would agree with you on half of that.
Well, but like I said, passable is not great. But
I was going to say impassable. Some things I would agree with that, but as far as I never thought The Force Awakens was passable.
Well, again, I was right. I was with them until the end. I was with them right up until that last, right until the final act. But the point is that someone like me who was naive enough to believe that Disney would not ruin their own franchises, boy, was I wrong.
And I am legitimately sorry that you went through that, by the way.
But bear in mind, when this particular franchise that I'm about to talk about was coming out, I was a kid. I wasn't just a kid. I was a pirate-loving kid I loved pirates before I loved superheroes, which brings me to the Pirates of the Caribbean. The thing is that the moment they decided to cut ties with Johnny Depp, and it does not matter the reason. The point is that the moment they decided to cut ties with him, they began circulating their own rumors about the next step in the franchise, and they have toyed with replacing him with everything and everybody they could possibly. I am surprised.
Because originally it was going to be some redheaded woman.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't decided to do the next movie.
Well, that's because Keira Knightley refused to come back.
Yeah.
Well, she had
they
her
finished
reasons.
her story. The 3 movies, those were great, and then after that, they really started to go downhill.
Well, then, and then
I've never seen a bad. I've never seen a bad Pirates movie. I like all 5 of them.
Yeah,
I don't hate them. I'm just saying, as far as
hold on.
Story.
Slow down, guys.
One sec. I just noticed Phil's name. Really?
Okay. I mean, if you say so, man.
But
no, I was going to say that you can kind of say to a certain degree, and this is kind of stretching it. I agree, like the 3rd Pirates of the Caribbean movie really like ended her story arc. But you can kind of say to a certain degree the 5th one kind of did too, but it was more for like Will. But you guys get the point.
And Barbossa too, with his daughter, and like.
See, that's the thing. Barbossa was my favorite character, and they gave him a good send off. Like, and that's the thing. You know, that was respectful. If they had to kill off a character, that was the best way to do it. He saved everybody else's ass and just brought it home. It was absolutely incredible. You know, Jeffrey Rush is still one of my favorite actors.
Yeah,
and. I'm telling you, I would love to see him, not right now, given the era that we're in, but I would have loved to have seen him play Mum-Ra in a live-action Thundercats. That would have been perfect. But
I loved him as Casanova Frankenstein in Mystery Men. He was such a great villain.
Absolutely. That was many of us. That was our introduction to him.
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, so I was just going to say.
You go ahead.
I'm sorry. So right now we bring ourselves to the 3rd iteration. They keep going back, you know, throwing anything at the wall to see what will stick, and they finally decided. And of course, this is a new character. I will acknowledge that this is a new character. This is a new direction for the franchise. But as somebody, you know, somebody on everybody's favorite social media site, X, formerly known as Twitter, somebody brought up they already had excellent. Anyway, they already had plenty of diverse characters among the background. That why not try to make? Well, why not? You know, why not talk to? Because they've got her under 3 different contracts. Well, why not talk to Zoe Saldana and bring her character back? Why, you know, there are stars among them, people that can carry the franchise if they want to take it in a different direction. This is specifically to spite, and this is why Gina Carano's efforts are doomed. Even if she wins this lawsuit, she is not getting her job back. I don't understand why she would want to get her job back.
So this is not about getting her job back.
It's not. I don't think her job is actually part of it. It was before. This is a new one.
Why would she want to return?
I think it's about the money she lost over the time that she would have made with Disney. I think is that the revenue
part
loss.
of it.
And I'm cool with that.
But also, this is about setting a precedent.
And I agree. But let's face it, she wouldn't, and I love Gina Carano to death, but she would not have the courage to do this if Scarlett Johansson hadn't started. You know, if she hadn't went after Disney after
don't
everything.
think that was the issue. I think the issue was the finances.
Well, Scarlett Johansson's case was purely because like she was butthurt that they released Black Widow on Disney Plus.
They did her dirty.
They absolutely did her dirty. They promised her it was only be theater exclusive.
Black Widow, not only did they do her dirty, but this is legitimately one of the CGI scenes from it.
Oh, where her face should have been burned off, but it just was perfectly fine after she just
and
took like an explosion to the
was
face.
Great. I know. But I'm not saying that movie was good.
Taskmaster was a disaster.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. No. If they had just made the stunt double that played Taskmaster be Taskmaster, it'd have been perfect.
But they had because Feige had to have the female swap in. He just couldn't leave it alone.
So one of the other issues that we have, right, is talking about Feige. A lot of the directors have stated that they have been told not to go and look at the comics, not to read the comics.
Oh boy, have I seen that a lot.
Yeah, that's such a terrible way to do it.
And it's what Feige wants.
Dumb.
It's what he literally demands.
I can't believe that. That's just, it's so wildly.
It's because
terrible.
Feige doesn't. And let's not forget, this is the guy who they put in charge of Marvel Comics now. The guy who tells people don't read the comics.
Taika Waititi stated this verbatim. I have never read a Thor comic. Well, yeah, no, I have. So what I do is I go and I make a Thor movie. And then I take the comic that I took the inspiration from and I read it. And I see what I got right and what I got wrong. I'm like, you fucking moron.
But this is the kind of environment that Feige wants. This is the environment he's cultivated, the kind of people he's hired.
So is this the environment where he actually gives a damn about what the fans think, or is this just his own jollies that he's trying to fulfill from his childhood?
Feige doesn't give a rat's ass about the fans. He made that perfectly evident in that She-Hulk ending.
Yeah,
exactly.
That Kevin bot. Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you know, they're running these franchises into the ground, and they're not even listening to the fans. If we all got together and quit buying, maybe they'd get the message.
A lot of it, but here's the thing. One of the reasons Disney's having so much trouble is a lot of people have quit buying.
I'm going to say something. And this might sound, especially seeing if so many of us here on the panel are creators, and Bubba is an aspiring creator himself, right? Is we are the problem, not us particularly. I'm talking about creators, right? Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's a chain link fence. Honestly, that's kind of a yes and no situation.
Yeah.
The issue is
Monday morning quarterbacking.
The issue is the quality of the creators that are going into this.
Yeah, we've got someone. There's a big person out there who's turning into a bit of a joke, but out there. But one of the main issues but one of the main issues is for YouTube creators is that I watched it, so you don't have to. Okay, yeah, that's fine, but you are now part of the number.
Oh, now I see what you're talking about.
That's one of my issues with people who like does that.
Hate watching.
The hate watching thing is definitely a contributing factor.
And
so
every time they say that, I say I'm gonna go watch it anyways. Thank you.
Yes, but
the thing is, I even have like a full blown argument with a few people who does that, saying if you're going to like complain about that type of stuff, then why you go watching it? Oh, because I have to do it for my audience. No, you don't.
And I understand.
Exactly, you don't. None of you.
Because I've argued about plenty of this stuff because, and Revan will support me on this. I go and I do the research.
Yes,
I have not watched a single MCU film since Winter Soldier. I have not watched a single Star Wars thing Disney has done since Rogue One, and that was the only one I watched.
Yeah,
so
I know.
I haven't given them shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
We did do, and I will admit this because it's at the beginning of my channel. Is the trap we fell into when me and Fire first started becoming creators was we were reviewing Star Trek Discovery, and now it was getting us numbers and shit like that, but we fucking hated it.
We dropped that pretty fucking early.
Yeah, but apart from that, is we noticed, and one of the things that really helped us drop it was we were there and we were talking about like, do we want to do this? What like. And one of the people we used to have on, I won't say his name, right, turned around and said, I need to rewatch this to get it. And I'm like, well, there was like, what, 7 of us watching it at it? So I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense because of noise. Like people talking, pause here, pause there. You get lost. But he came back and he said, I watched it 5 times. Which resulted in me having an argument with him saying, if you're watching it 5 times, you're a fucking fan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll argue.
Because we fell into the trap with Discovery and we bailed on it because we didn't want to do it. And we considered the Picard thing, but we saw one episode and I tapped out. Like pure. I was like, I'm not doing any more of this new Trek shit. I had enough with Discovery. and I've seen one episode of Picard, and I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
I'm dropping this shit like I did Star Wars, like Disney Star Wars shit.
I'll even bring up the argument about like if you dislike something, and if you see it a second time, then okay, maybe a second time to make sure that you're feeling the way you're feeling makes sense. But any more than 2 times at most,
so there was
Barb's argument comes to play.
I actually understand it because I had a good friend when we still lived in North Carolina. Him and his wife went and saw The Force Awakens, right?
Yes.
And they were going on and on about it. And my brother and I, because they were friends of ours, we used to go over there every weekend. We were talking about it, and we were talking about, what was actually wrong with The Force Awakens, just legitimate stuff. There were issues with it. And he went back and he watched it a second time, and he comes back and he's like, I can't do it. He's like, because now I've seen it, he's like, I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much me with the last Ninja Turtle film. I was pretty much that way too.
So the producer so the producer of the show, Farv knows who she is. Goes by Device Inside My Head. We went, her choice, not mine, right? So we went to see Rogue One, and I came out. I'm like, "What did you think?" And she was standing there. Oh, well, yeah. And I'm like, "You okay?" And she's like, "Well, that was a pointless movie." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "That entire movie existed to fix one minor plot hole. That entire movie."
I mean, basically, it existed to do one other thing, actually.
Okay.
It existed.
And that's why my mommy will come to you.
Okay.
It existed to undermine 2 major factors from the Lucas era. It existed to undermine Kyle Katarn and his role in previously established as the one who got the Death Star plans, and it existed to undo a few plot points from the original movie trilogy.
Yep.
You read my mind, Farv. That's exactly what I was going to say, because I'm so pissed at Kathleen Kennedy for not allowing canon. George told her to keep it, and she pretty much spit in his face.
Yeah.
So keep the old EU. Yes.
It's like if you guys have read the Duel of the Fates series.
Yeah, Dark Forces was Lucas canon. He approved it.
Yeah.
Ray is Janna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Poe is her boy or fiance. Yeah, I mean,
Jagged Fell.
It's like J.J. Abrams just picked and chose what he wanted to and just ruined it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like if you watch Rebels, a bunch of Rebels is cherry picked from the freaking expanded universe.
Literally.
I
will
argue this.
And they totally shit all over Timothy Zahn.
Yep.
Yeah, and I do not like what they did with Darth Bane in Clone Wars. I mean, I know this is like something that was Dave Filoni's fault. I mean, if you read like the Darth Bane books, he's a miner from a outer rim world called Epatros, and because he was mining a mineral called cortosis, which is known to resist lightsabers, he basically lost all of his hair, but the guy was built. He was a very big and imposing guy, but everybody, including his own father, all hated him. And
I'll argue this though, and this might be the hot take and you guys might say, "What the fuck, Phil?" for a second, but hear me out. I am happy that they did the whole decanonize the Lucas era thing. Only because
I think I know where he's going with this. Actually,
hear me out. Because that way the Lucas era stuff can stay intact essentially, and Disney can have free reigns to mess up their own shit. Sadly, like we had to mess up the mess up the 6 Star Wars movies, but anything canon that they introduce into the current Star Wars won't touch what is now considered legends. So from that standpoint, I'm happy they decanonized Lucas's era Star Wars, because
to some extent I can kind of agree with that, because it gives you an easy distinction between the two.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Kusri, Device Inside My Head, and Farv one day behind the scenes. I think Bubba was there as well. This was a while ago. And I said, if I was doing Star Wars, because they have given themselves a little bit of an out with a definition. I'll ask Sci-Fi Mombi for this, okay? Sci-Fi Mombi, Would you agree with me with this? When they stated so many times Luke Skywalker's Academy, to me, that means there was more than one. Because they are different. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying, but they technically, by stating the fact that it is Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy so many times, they have technically given themselves an out.
I will tell you why.
Go ahead.
That no longer matters.
Yeah,
two reasons. One, they've completely undermined Luke as a character.
Oh yeah, completely.
They've destroyed him. And two, they've proven it with that last fucking Jedi game that came out. All roads lead to the High Republic.
And then they gave us a Bob Kenobi to match our Jake Skywalker.
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
So, but what I was saying is, what I would do myself.
I really hate the fact that they screwed those characters up.
Yeah, is that I would turn around and I say that Luke got married to Jade, right?
Yes,
he had
Mara Jade
in the books. Yep.
Yeah, this is what I would do. Now you're like, but where is she in The Force Awakens? Here's what I would do. I would say that Luke's plan for the Jedi was going one way. Mara's was now going another way. She said, listen, what she's going to do is she's going to take her followers and go and start a second order of Jedi and see how they go. But she's going to the unknown regions because that's where she's being called. She has felt it. But Luke is like, I'm staying here. Which then could have led you to have someone going into the unknown regions where you see a load of Jedi show up out of nowhere, a Jedi army having like a flourishing, big, like fully functioning order in the unknown regions, where you now have a legitimate Skywalker line as the de facto heads of the order. That's what I would do. What do you think?
I think the ultimate issue here is Disney were obsessed with placating some of the people that actually caused a lot of the problems with Star Wars fandom to begin with.
Yes.
The people who hounded George Lucas, who were never satisfied with what they had.
With the prequels and some of
not just the prequels, but some of the people who would just endlessly attack any of the expanded universe
they
stuff.
They placated half of them, and then they did everything to spite the other half of them.
I'm getting to that. Because what a lot of people would have liked, rather than them completely wasting an opportunity to bring back the original trilogy cast before some of them unfortunately passed away, was do some settings where you don't need those actors. Use some of this material that's never been used outside of comics or games before. People wanted shit with Dash Rendar. People wanted shit with Kyle Katarn, Mara Jade.
Yeah,
you have so many fucking characters.
Or you could go further in the future and have them be the descendants, like Cole and Cade Skywalker, the grandson and the great grandson of Luke Skywalker.
Because you cannot tell me that Star Wars Empire, you're not talking about Shadows of the Empire or Dark Forces or Jedi Outcast would have not made good fucking movies and had characters that people gave a shit about in them.
Yeah, but the thing is, we've had this was mentioned ages ago with oh fuck, give me 1 second. Sorry, I just need to go and grab his name.
Right.
When he was on Joker's Voice. Go and subscribe to Joker's Voice, anyone watching. Great guy. Yeah. We were talking about him, and they had a DEI. This was a leaked memo, a leaked video. You remember this, Jet Sparks, you were there, where one of the executives said, all I care about is her not-so-secret gay agenda. Where I see,
fucking course.
Where she sees two characters together and she's like, why is he not gay? And why aren't they kissing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also... Yeah. You'll want to push that in our faces, but if you're going to put it in some other region of the world, oh, no, we got to take it out because we'll offend their culture, and we have to respect all cultures other than the Western world.
Which brings up the argument then that if you have to do that, then why even put that in the argument?
What?
Bubba's unmuted twice to speak, and we've spoken over him.
Sorry.
No, I unmuted by accident. I keep having to correct it. Thank you, though.
Okay.
So,
no, my point was like, if you have to do that, pretty much going off of what Jet said, if you have to do that, then why even put that in the movie in the first place?
Okay.
Yeah, well, exactly.
What Jet Sparks was talking about, for anyone who don't know in the audience, is the original poster for Black Panther had the face of Chadwick Boseman on it.
No, I'm also but I'm also talking about that one infamous character. Those two infamous background characters in. I didn't see Rise of Skywalker, but yeah.
You're talking about the stupid lesbian shit that they were freaking out about.
No, I'm going to get to them, but I'm just talking about what they did with the posters.
Yes.
In China, they put on the mask of they CGI'd on the mask of the Black Panther, right? Now, in all the Star Wars movies over in our side, Finn was equal placing size-wise to the other cast. Mm-hmm. In China, he was shrank down to barely noticeable. They removed him as being a Jedi because China. When they filmed the not Milan, that's a fucking city. Mulan. Right? When they filmed Mulan, they were doing it where about 5 miles from where China was having a load of like Muslim minorities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Uyghur Muslims, yeah.
Thank you. The Uyghur Muslims in camps.
The really hard thinking camps.
Exactly. Ooh. No, thank you for saying it like that. Uh-huh. Then you have other instances where they turned around and they had. So I was saying this to Sci-Fi Mombi there the other day, that in the new Spider-Man game, the Spider-Man 2, which just released, they had a section where you were outside of the stock exchange, and they had all pride flags, and they had 2 characters. If you go over them, you can overhear them. They're talking about their gender identity. Because apparently that's the thing you do on a street corner. But when it was released in China and in the Middle East, they were replaced with American flags, and the 2 people were now voiced by 2 different people, and we're talking about coffee.
Right? Yeah, the natural, normal thing that we be talking about. We're just randomly talking about. Not this, because the people who make this stuff are not normal people. They're freaks who are obsessed with. They literally think that this stuff is what makes them who they are. Mm-hmm. Just who they sleep with, and who they sleep with, and what they claim they think they are.
And to be clear, none of us, at least I speak for myself, at least, I have no problem with them having gay characters, introducing new ones, and so on and so forth.
Exactly, but the thing is, you don't need. Sorry,
but like you said, they have fetishized this entire, that entire community, and then they and any of us that are not from that community that have anything to say about it, we're called bigots.
Exactly the point. Even then. Go ahead.
This is the producer of the brand new Spider-Man game, and tell me if you notice anything.
Oh, that's been covered many times.
Yeah, that was interesting.
They literally made her. They wanted to self-insert her into the game as Mary Jane Watson, because why the frick not?
It's not like Mary Jane was a model and a star or anything.
Yeah, but like these self-inserts are absolutely ridiculous. And if you remember during the summer, there was a lot of issues fucking around where they had a load of activists. Now, the problem is with the members of the LGBT that they're not hiring Tom and Dave, 2 gay writers who are going to write Spider-Man, right? They're hiring Taekwondo, a white dude who identifies as a fox, to go in and write a load of stuff. And if you think I'm messing, no, they actually had a guy there with ears on who identified as a fox.
God.
What would the fox say?
And again, if he could objectively write a good story without turning it into something weird, then something fetishy. If he could just write that good story, I don't care what he identifies as.
That actually, but that's a good point. I wouldn't give a rat's ass if you were a fucking purple fucking moose from the planet Tripton. If you could write a decent fucking story. I thought you were going to say a purple people eater. If you could just write a damn story that doesn't make me want to fucking strangle somebody.
Another weird thing that Disney is doing, right? They're doing these things late at night, where it's like Disney late at night. They light the whole thing up for Pride. They're like, okay, that's Pride, but they do it all the time now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why they don't do it for anything else? Like, and one of the main
because these people hate the country, hate the very country where they have all this freedom to do this stuff in.
Wait, no, the sad part is it's gone beyond hating the country to hating every single person that isn't exactly like them.
Yeah. So, I saw one protest, and it was at Disney, and this guy was going up spouting facts. Right, he was a gay man, and he was talking about how a lot of true gay people don't think that way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, right. And that's the kind of thing, though. Because I will say this in a story, I'm gonna basically kind of just say that there is a character that I kind of show up as a bit of surprise near the end of the story. Is that this person is gay, but again. Throughout the entire story, we know this supporting character. There is nothing that shows that in your face reasons why he's this way.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that he turned around, and when he was talking to the this activist, right? And he was talking to her, and he was like, "Oh yeah, giving all these facts that he had in his hand that came from proper organizations that fight for the employment rights of LGBT people, right?" And he's like, "This is what we want at the end of the day: is to go to work and go home. That's it." But he said, and she's like, "Yeah, but what about the feelings?" And he's like, "Excuse me." Feelings matter.
Feelings are irrelevant.
Yeah,
exactly.
She said feelings matter over facts.
Feelings only matter if that's all you have. If you lack, and I'm sorry, it's going to sound shitty, but if you lack any intellectual wherewithal, emotions are all you fucking focus on. Because otherwise, you have to operate with a modicum of fucking logic to function.
But no, we're being told to only follow our feelings because basically they see everybody as children. They're infantizing everybody to say that you should only focus on your feelings.
So Disney
and then people want to know why I want to be a Kalon or a Vulcan.
That's fair.
Do you have a thing for pointy ears?
I have pointy ears. What are you talking about?
In the Star Wars universe, I don't want to be a human. I want to be a Keldor, the same species.
And none of you want to be a Q. Out of all the species in Star Trek, none of you are picking Q. You weaklings.
That's too much power for me, Potato. Come on.
If fucking Trek, just send my ass to the Klingons or the Cardassians.
Farv, I'm going to send you to the biggest Klingon hole on the planet and let you have your fucking dream.
Well, in that case, I will say this: Cheshire, Keshmak, Keskak.
Farv, hold your wife. But what I was saying is, what, Phil?
I was gonna say, in my defense, I want to diversify the potatoes on here, so I want to be a sweet potato. Welcome, ladies.
I will throw a shoe at you. Anywho,
make sure it hits him in the balls.
But when it comes to politics in the Disney company, right? They're not hiring Steve, the Republican, who don't give two shits about what's going on. He just wants a good Republican president and wants the world to be good. They're not hiring Sandra, the Democrat version of him. They're not hiring like Bill and Ben, the two centrists.
And this comes back to the Gina Carano thing.
Yes.
And unfortunately, Pascal pretty much proved it. It comes down to what you're saying is true because they did at one point hire what I would consider a centrist, and that would be Gina.
Yeah.
She was a centrist. She was nice to everybody until they treated her like shit. She didn't care about your politics as long as you didn't bother her with them or force them on her. And what did they do? That.
Mm-hmm. But another thing that people find a lot of the stuff that Pedro Pascal has done is really weird. Like during the working of
The Last of Us.
Yep. He spoke to the actress. She ended up wearing a binder. He kept talking to her, and she stated he used to speak to her for hours on end every day about
how she was trans.
Yeah, about her gender identity. And now she's non-binary, and I'm like, what the fuck? And like, why is he doing this? Like, why
what
would
does
you
it matter, right?
Because I'm pretty sure he wants to be. He's basically told he's been commissioned to be a bully to other people.
I don't even think it's that. I just think he's just legitimately fucking drank the damn metaphorical Kool-Aid.
But Sci-Fi Mombi is a mother here, right? And
I'm the mother of 3 LGBTQIA plus children, also.
But that being said, and this I think where Revan is going, how would you feel if your young adult children are being talked to by their 45-year-old coworker about sex stuff at work?
With no kids. Like if I turned around,
some testicles.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I'm a mama bear. I don't put up with that shit.
Yeah, that's why it's weird, you know. And that if he were a 40, well, look at Chris Evans. Chris Evans just married, a woman who is a completely, consenting adult, but because she was so much younger than him, he just went through all kinds of hell where people were calling him creepy. And
I know, I heard, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because she's a fully grown adult. It's not like he was waiting for her 18th birthday to marry.
And age is just a number.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's
jail
the
is
thing.
just a room.
Well, but the point is that at her age, at that juncture, age is just a number. But but to have your 19-year-old coworker who's barely a legal adult, and you're sitting 19. There. How old was she?
That was when it came out
during The Last of Us. Oh,
we're talking 17.
Okay, see, and that's where it gets really weird. And the thing is though, is that and I'll turn it back over to you, Potato. I will say this about Pedro Pascal: they are forcing his star to rise. They are carrying it every bit that they can. Yes. The man is not a very good action star. He's barely a good voice actor.
He's not a very good actor in general.
I am not looking forward to seeing him disgrace Mr. Fantastic, and that is the last I'll say about Pedro Pascal.
Actually, he's not confirmed.
Damn it,
I'm still shocked they chose him for that role.
He's not.
He's more well known for being. He's more well known for that damn Wonder Woman meme than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
But Potato Revan, they confirmed it yesterday.
Are you serious?
Oh my God! Of course they. Yeah. They're in love with this guy. Look. They're in love with this guy because he gleefully strolls along checking all their boxes.
You see, that's one of the main issues. Box tickers. Right?
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, like, one of the best people who I think I've not really heard him bitching about politics or anything like that is Seth MacFarlane. Right? When he did the Orville, a lot of the jokes in the Orville were aimed at both sides of the political aisle.
So he's more of a true centrist.
Yeah, the whole thing with Topa, the whole entire subplot with Topa
is absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, in the shows, he will hit slightly on it, but he's trying to make you think.
Yes.
Whereas outside of the shows, he's a full-fledged Democrat, and you can see his agenda out there.
Yeah.
Point blank. And he even talked about it in the show Friday night. He let it loose. He's like, hey, I'm here in Washington, but let me tell you something.
That episode where they vote on people like up and down and like decide your fate.
But we can respect somebody that's able to make an objective story.
Yep. Correct.
If it's good, you can have a little bit of messaging in there. Yeah.
But you also covered
storytelling. You could have some messaging in there as long as the story was good.
No, but you also covered what is never covered when it does come to a lot of LGBT things, detransitioners with Topa. Right? He did cover that.
But you have to also think back to the beginning of Family Guy, how he wasn't for that group. There was a lot of ridicule of that community, and he's had a huge change.
Yeah, but
I don't know if it's so much ridicule of that community or ridicule of the stupidity that comes from the activists of that community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, if you're friends with that community, you're part of or close to, like, and here's the thing, when it comes to ridicule, right? What's the fun of being made fun of? You get me? Everyone deserves. There's nobody on this planet above ridicule, and everyone does need to be made fun of on both sides, and they're each other. You do need to be made fun of at some time. Otherwise,
of comedy for sure.
Exactly.
Well, if you can't laugh at yourself, right? I mean,
this
life
is why
too short
modern
to be
comedy,
a stick in the mud forever.
That's why modern comedy doesn't work.
Yeah. If you don't want to say it, don't make a joke about it. Like that whole thing where it's like, if you can't say it to a couple people, don't say it to a full room on a stand-up stage.
Yeah.
It's gotta be good, and nobody should be safe. Like you said, like everybody should be fair game.
This is why everybody on social media has a screaming conniption fit whenever Dave Chappelle tells a fucking joke or South Park points out something obvious.
South Park, perfect example. They go at everyone.
See,
no one is safe on them. They'll make an episode about you real quick.
See, that's why I laugh at Rabin so many times, because I laugh that he can be easily turned into a French fry Rabin.
I can't because France doesn't exist.
Oh, who saw that one coming?
But here's the thing:
American fries,
Irish fries. Excuse you,
Irish.
Irish.
So here's the thing, and I'll end on this. When Dave Chappelle was talking, and Dave Chappelle keeps getting called transphobic.
I love Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, but in Dave Chappelle's, not this special, the one before it, he was talking about one of his best friends, right? Who was trans, and how she got hounded because of a thing, and she stood up for him, and then at the end of it, he turned around and he was like, so yeah, she took her own life. And it's because of these weirdos on Twitter who Disney is pandering to, who none of them are going to go and see their bloody movies.
Exactly.
The Marvels, which just came out back in November, right? Budget, 270 million. Box office, 200 million. Disney has not made a movie that has crossed $1 billion since fucking Spider-Man. That was the last one.
And they had to share that with Sony.
And that's sad too, because that was partially Sony's movie too.
Yeah. Well,
the last one I'll argue that they might have, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Guardians 3. And that's a maybe. Maybe.
No, you're wrong.
Wrong on that.
Yeah, hold on. I'll get you the box figures for Guardians 3.
Let's not forget, I don't believe they actually made this much. There is definitely some trickery going on, but Avatar 2 is said to have made $2 billion. Was that before or after No Way Home?
That was after No Way Home, but before Guardians 3.
So Guardians 3 had a budget of $250 million and had a box office of $848 million.
Which is a decent profit.
But it's not a profit for Disney because they would have needed to make $1 billion.
Yeah, not compared to what not compared to what we call Disney money.
No, they actually what they give for a budget on Wikipedia and IMDb is the production budget. They do not account the marketing budget and the awards budget.
Yeah. Which usually accounts to it not quite double, but it's like 75% of the production budget.
Yeah, on top of the production budget. They don't give us the full one. But we're after going over by 5 minutes. Farv, would you like to share your crap?
My crap, thanks.
You're welcome.
I got a channel called Farvithian Guard here on fucking YouTube. It's gaming stream. Well, there's gaming streams on Mondays and Thursdays. My brother and I post gaming videos, episodic and single shot stuff, depending on what we're doing at the time. I also have a link to my book in almost every video on Amazon. I'm about 3/4 finished with the sequel, at least before the editing and sending it through the copyright office. But the next one should be coming out sometime near the end of the year, by hopefully.
Fantastic. Sci-Fi Mamba, you want to tell us about your stuff?
We just did the end of our taboo subjects series on mental health, and we're moving into our We're No Experts, but you can ask us anyways series, and it's kind of on wellness. And I'm going to actually,
wellness?
Well, like, exercise, eating better, nutrition.
It means stuff to prevent sickness rather than curative. It's prevention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm going to walk, like I work in the American insurance industry, and I'm just kind of going to walk through, kind of try to educate on, filing your claims and all that kind of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
I'm sorry, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd, so I like it.
Yeah.
And then I posted some of my DC trip, and I just put out my follow-up on the Grammys. So I'm just kind of like dabbling, everywhere that I like to.
Jet Sparks.
Yes, my name is I'm Jet Sparks 373. Obviously you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, X, but also the thing is, I recently have been able to get get a few of my videos mirrored on Odyssey, and now again I'm also, I think a few of my videos are also some videos I've managed to get on Rumble too. So go ahead and try to find me there at that handle.
Oh yeah, and because I've forgotten, he just reminded me. I am also on fucking Twitterix, although I don't do much but post stuff on my channel there.
Yes, go and follow Far for absolutely no memes.
Same thing with Instagram. Again, I have an entire link tree on my YouTube channel, so you can find me on most of the social media platforms or video sharing sites.
Apion?
Yeah, I'm Apion, APY0N. I have my YouTube channel. I play video games on there. I just finished Final Fantasy VII Remake again, getting ready for Rebirth. And then I do a show called Two Guys Talking. Yeah, that game is amazing. I do a show called Two Guys Talking every Saturday with my buddy. And right now we're going to talk about King Kong and Godzilla and go through all the MonsterVerse stuff leading up to Godzilla versus Kong next month. And that's all I want to show for now. Thanks for having me on.
Always,
and they're great talks.
Yeah. Bubba.
Okay. Sorry, having some technical difficulties here. All right,
difficulty.
That's really fair. I'll accept that. But anyway, the point is, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, as Geek Hero Bubba. I am Geek Hero Bubba just about everywhere you can find me. Be on the lookout. I've been saying it for a couple of years now. It'll eventually happen. I will eventually start my own channel. But until then, you can watch me argue with people from all extreme sides on my Twitter account, where I tend to get yelled at an awful lot in text. Anyway, if y'all haven't had the chance yet and y'all want to see a good movie that breaks the Hollywood mold, get out and see Godzilla -1 while you still have the chance. It's in black and white now. in America. If you're overseas, y'all are getting it in color now. But get out and see that movie. It is more than worth it. It has everything that'll tug at the heartstrings. You got a big monster, the big monster. Everything is great, and I cannot recommend this movie enough.
Awesome. And now for our diversity hire, Phil.
Oh,
yeah, I am the black and gayer potato revenue. You're welcome.
Bitch, no one's seen me on camera. You don't know what color I am.
Spuds with a twist.
right. But
wow.
Curly fries.
Don't you talk about my curly fries?
Arby's colored.
No, seriously. Okay, but you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram as the Skyler Knight. YouTube. As for now, Phil TMNT. Next year, I might change it to Skyler Knight to be more universal to my Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram. And just of content, just subscribe to my channel. You might get the content, might not. Who knows?
I would also like
find out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would like to congratulate Phil on getting his green belt in some Asian martial arts.
Oh yeah, I got a green belt in Taekwondo.
Now, oh shit! I used to do Taekwondo when I was younger, man.
Excellent.
I never got above a white belt back when I was a kid either.
Now, Phil, are you going to go above the green belt, or are you going to stay at that because it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja collar belt?
Oh, I'm planning to go at least to like first degree black belt, baby.
Don't call me baby. That's weird. I feel uncomfortable now.
I feel the love in the air.
Right.
Sexual harassment panda here.
It could be worse. It could be worse. Because at my college, there's like this Christian group. They call it Bible study, right? And it could be worse because I playfully said to one of my friends, because thank God they know that I was kidding, but I said to them playfully, "Well, you could be the all the Bible study I need."
So I'm going to end by showing a meme, right?
And I hope that it was good.
Right.
And I hope that Disney does take up this movie idea. In the sake of equity and diversity, and we know how much you love DEI, Disney, I really do believe that you should make this movie starring Ryan Gosling.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Good night, everyone.